What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sam Us podcast. Today, we are here to talk about the Eastern Conference standings and my predictions about them, and also today, my predictions of the NBA awards. As you know, the NBA season's almost here, less than a week away, with the Denver Nuggets opening up the season. I cannot wait for it, but let's get started with the East. At number one, the number one seed, I have the Boston Celtics, of course, with them making gigantic moves like getting Jrue Holiday and getting Kristaps Porzingis. That center spot might be a little shaky, but I think that this team will be one of the better defender teams, probably I'd say like a top 5 defensive team in the NBA, with, of course, having Jrue Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. Of course, Derek White, that could be a potential 6th man of the year, which I'm really excited for this team, and I hope that they do well. And they had to make these aggressive moves because of my number 2 team. That is the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, Damian Lillard going to Milwaukee and teaming up with Giannis. And, of course, Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. That's just, would you call that a Fantastic Four? I don't know. But I can see the argument for it. But I am excited for this. Damian Lillard did have his first preseason game. I wasn't able to see it. I was watching the Astros and Rangers game. Let's go Rangers, game 1. And with this here, I think the duo will be good during the regular season. My worry is during the playoffs. As you know, Giannis was hurt last season, and I'm worried about Brook Lopez's age. And I know I was saying that right now for this, I'm only talking about the playoffs, or no, for the normal regular season for these teams, because for the playoffs it could be a lot different. Of course, we don't know how these teams could look. The Bucks can make a couple of trades with the second round picks, but here I think the Bucks will be good during the regular season if Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez can stay healthy, which they have really not been able to these past few seasons. Of course, with Brook Lopez about 2 seasons ago, I believe, with the back injury, and then last year with Chris Middleton missing quite a bit of time. And at number 3, might be a little shocker here, and I think they have a range from about 5 to maybe even being 1. And here I have the Cleveland Cavaliers at 3. I think with them filling up their 3 spot hole with Max Strus, Georges Niang, and I think that shooting and a little bit of defense can really help them a lot, but I think it's going to take them take an Evan Mobley jump to really make that next step. And him being, I guess, how do I say it? He doesn't have to be an offensive superstar yet, but at least he has to show a good amount of improvement, and I think we will see that. As he said, I think he had gained a little bit of weight, to not get tossed around as much, but this team needs to see results soon because Donovan Mitchell is up for an extension in about 2 years, and he does not plan on signing a contract. And you have a kid from New York that wants to go play in New York, and how do you keep him in Cleveland? You win. That's what happened with LeBron. I'm not calling Donovan Mitchell LeBron, but you traded so much pick. You put so much of your draft equity to the side, traded away for this player who can help you win, but it's just, it didn't go your way last season. Hopefully, they can step up. The lights aren't too bright for Jared Allen, and hopefully they can, make a decent playoff run. And at number 4, the New York Knicks. It might be a little surprise compared with all the other teams in the East, but I think the New York Knicks will be a good defensive team, of course, with their coach Tom Thibodeau, and I think Jalen Brunson will make an all-star leap. I don't know what's really going to happen with Julius Randle, how effective and how good he's going to be. But, of course, getting good guard play such as Dante DiVincenzo, you re-sign Josh Hart. I think it's going to come down to Quentin Grimes or RJ Barrett taking that next step and being that possible second-best player on the Knicks. Because right now, Julius Randle being the second-best player on the Knicks, there's a cap to that. And he doesn't really show up in the playoffs. And he's been really hurt, I think he went on to undergo a surgery this offseason with his ankle. And, that's going to take a while for him to be able to come back from the NBA. And I think he'll start, but it's going to linger. It's going to be a question. And hopefully either RJ Barrett, who they gave a lot of money to, or Quentin Grimes to step up and be that number 2 next to Jalen Brunson. And at number 5, this one's kind of a question mark here. I have the Philadelphia 76ers, and I think they have a range too. They can be a 3, And I think they can be all the way in the play-in, like at 9, maybe 8 or 9. But it just depends on one person. James Harden, how much is James Harden going to affect the locker room? It doesn't seem like he's really going to buy in, that he really wants to be out. And, I mean, Tyrese Maxey is all you need. Tyrese Maxey needs to step up. And how much longer is this Joel Embiid going to take this? How much longer is he going to take people wanting out of here and them not winning, them coming up short? I mean, it is also because of him. Because, I mean, I don't want to really talk much about the playoffs, but I'm not going to talk. I think there would be a decent regular season team. But with the playoffs, I'm not going to be saying if Joel Embiid is healthy. I'm going to go on what we have seen in the past. He has not been healthy in the playoffs, so they will not be healthy, and they will probably lose because of him not being healthy. Yes, they were a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, but they still blew the lead, and they still lost at the end of the day. And hopefully James Harden goes in, and hopefully they can trade him if he's going to be that much of a cancer to the locker room, and get a decent package for him just to have that out of the way. And, you know, trading him away, or even if you hold on to him for the season, you let him go in the off season, and then you let go of Tobias Harris. That opens up a huge spot for another superstar to come. I don't know who's available in this upcoming off season, but leaving that cap room could be another superstar. Or if you think if Tyrese Maxey does take that next jump to a potential close to a superstar, that could be a lot of decent role players willing to come play next to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But how much longer is Joel Embiid going to take this? I'm not sure. And at number 6, I have the Indiana Pacers. I think that Tyrese Halliburton has made a big jump, and I think he'll continue to improve. And, you know, they paid Bruce Brown a lot of big money for this. And I think Rick Carlisle can, you know, gather his team together, and this can be another team that makes like a big jump like OKC did. But, you know, I think they did follow the playoffs, and they were pretty high. They were around this range because before Tyrese Halliburton had got hurt. And I think now, hopefully he stays healthy, with him healthy, and with Miles Turner saying that he wants to make a big jump, and hopefully he could be a potential sneaky first-time All-Star. You know, Miles Turner, first-time All-Star, that would make the Pacers a 6 seed. And hopefully they can get this Buddy Hield situation situated with either sign him to the contract, but I know he doesn't want to come off the bench, or hopefully they can just find a trade for him as soon as possible and just not have to worry about that there during the season. At number 7, this was a tough one. Because I think they can be 7, but they can be like a 10 or 11 maybe. The Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. I'm not sure about the duo. I think it could be a good duo, but with Trae Young, how he played last season, that cannot repeat again. With the 3 ball missing, of course, I think he had a little injury that kind of didn't really help him, but he definitely showed out in the playoffs. But you still lost. You got to rid of John Collins, so that can't be the scapegoat anymore. And now it's you and DeJounte. And for me, my question is, who else is going to step up? Is Adrian Griffin going to be able to get some run? Is Jalen Johnson going to be able to get some run? Is Onyeka Okongwu going to be able to get some run? And is DeAndre Hunter going to be healthy? Is he going to be that wing guard that's going to be able to spread out the floor and shoot and score off, you know, Trae Young's hands? How is Trae Young going to play off the ball? This Atlanta Hawks team has a lot of questions, and they could make a run like they did earlier, but it just depends on health and how good Trae Young is going to be, of course, and how good DeJounte Murray is going to play off of Trae Young again. And next, number 8, kind of spoiled it earlier, the Miami Heat. I do not believe in the Miami Heat. I didn't believe in them when they went on that big run as the 8th seed. And again, I have them as the 8th seed. But I just think the East got so much better, and they lost Max Strus and they lost Gabe Vincent. And I know Bam Adebayo was saying, you know, they're a bunch of nobodies then, and now everybody cares that we lost them now. But those players helped you make that big run to the playoffs, you know, during the playoffs. And then you had Caleb Martin, just balling out, and him, you know, arguably was the Eastern Conference MVP. And you lost those big pieces here, especially with Gabe Vincent, who carried you in a lot of games and really was the offensive motor when Jimmy wasn't there. And I just think the East got better. The Miami Heat didn't get better, and that's why I have them here in the 8th seed simply. And at number 9, man, I think this team could be a lot lower, but the Chicago Bulls, at the end of the day, they have Vucevic, they have DeMar DeRozan, and they have Caruso, and they have Zach LaVine, of course. I don't know how the rest of the team's going to look out. Of course, you're missing another year, Lonzo, and this team could be a team that halfway through the season decides, you know what, DeMar DeRozan doesn't want to be here, Zach LaVine doesn't want to be here. We can just trade everybody and focus around Patrick Williams, but I don't know how confident you are in Patrick Williams. But I think at worst, at the best, the Chicago Bulls can be the 9th seed. At the worst, they can be probably around a 12th seed. And hopefully for Chicago Bulls fans that they're a 9th seed at least. At number 10, I have the Orlando Magic making that big jump to the play-in here. And I have Paolo Banchero, possible first-time All-Star here. Him and Franz Wagner. Franz looked amazing in the FIBA. I know he didn't play too much, but he did look good. And Paolo playing solid minutes for Team USA, also playing the 5, which I think could be really effective for the Magic and really help them out. But the question for me for the Magic is there too many guards there? You got Jalen Suggs, you got Markelle Fultz, you got Cole Anthony, you just drafted Anthony Black, you got Jet Howard now, and you got this. It might be a cluster of guards there, but that could be good pieces to trade for the future, or just, good role bench players that you can develop yourself and have, for a potential playoff run or play-in run. And then here I have the Nets just right outside. I think them really not having a point guard is going to be a big thing, and I think that Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, of course, will have a big year, and I'll be excited for this Nets team because I want to see how good Ben Simmons is going to be, and hopefully he's back. He's looking pretty decent. He's had a few good, buckets here and there in the preseason, but it's just the preseason at the end of the day. And at number 12, I have the Charlotte Hornets. This team just needs a bunch of stuff off the court to not happen, and hopefully the LaMelo Ball stays healthy. With the LaMelo Ball, they could be a 10th seed, but right now they got a bunch of drama. Kai Jones just got released after tweeting that he wanted to get requested a trade. Miles Bridges is back in trouble again, and hopefully Brandon Miller is the only positive thing that can really help this team. So right now I have the Hornets at 12. And at number 13, I have the Toronto Raptors. I think this team could be a play-on team, but I just think eventually with the comments from, I can't remember their GM's name right now, but I think the comments was going within. They're probably not going to want to pay Pascal Siakam. I think at halfway through the season, they're going to want to tank and try to get that first overall pick. But I believe the San Antonio Spurs do have their first round pick, but I think it's like top 4, top 1 protected. So I think if they tank, they got to go all the way through it to try to get their pick back. And at number 14, I have the Pistons. I think they will be a little bit better than last year. Hopefully, Cade Cunningham, that is a big factor here. Cade Cunningham is healthy, and hopefully they can make a big jump by right now. I think they're just too young right now. I could see them possibly being 11, maybe 10 right there at the most. But I'm really rooting for this Pistons team, and hopefully they can make a big jump. And at number 15, I have the Washington Wizards, or the Jordan Poole show pretty much. And hopefully they can just have Jordan Poole go crazy, but also develop all these other guys that they've drafted. You got Bilal Koulibaly now. You have Denny Adavia that you've been having sitting there. And hopefully you can just grow some home talent. Hopefully, just make the Wizards name back up again. And I'm excited to see those blue jerseys. Those blue jerseys was really nice. So that is the end of my Eastern Conference standing predictions. I'll run through it one more time. My Eastern Conference standing predictions. Celtics at 1, Bucks at 2, Cavs at 3 seed, Knicks in the 4 seed, 76ers in the 5 seed, Pacers in the 6 seed, Hawks in the 7 seed, Miami Heat in the 8 seed, Chicago Bulls in the 9th seed, Orlando Magic in the 10th seed, Brooklyn Nets at 11, Charlotte Hornets at 12, Raptors at 13, Pistons at 14, the Washington Wizards at my worst team in the NBA at number 15. Now, we're going to talk about the NBA awards. I did not have a category for the most clutchest player because I don't really know how I would say that, I wouldn't know who I would put that. And it's a fairly new award, so it is what it is. I think these awards are more important to me. I'll start off with from the bottom to the MVP, and I'll end with MVP. For my most improved player of the year, I have Devin Vassell winning. I think next to Victor Wembanyama, he can make that big jump, and his numbers have improved every single year. It's just hopefully he can stay healthy, and I don't think he can be an all-star. I don't think he'll be an all-star, but I think he can have those similar numbers going up to about 20 points per game, and with the defense also being there. Number 2, I have Tyrese Maxey. I think with James Harden being out and all that, or now with him not really being locked in, he's going to have to step up and possibly be an all-star type level player, and that could put him really in potential for most improved player. And then Mikal Bridges, of course, him being the number 1 scorer there in Brooklyn. That's just an easy go-to right there. With my 6th man of the year, my number 1 spot goes to Derek White, with him being the best 6th man. With Malcolm Brogdon, who won it with the Celtics last year, I think Derek White is a way better player than Malcolm Brogdon is right now. And with him being the best player off the bench for possibly the best team in the NBA, I think that's just the writing on the wall right there. And of course, with Derek White being a great defender, what worries about me with Derek White is how many games he will start due to if a Jrue Holiday is injured or if a Jaylen Brown is injured and stuff like that. That's the only thing that worries about me. Number 2, I have the runner-up of last year. I have Emmanuel Quickley, and then I have Norman Powell at 3 for 6th man of the year. And then my rookie of the year, and if you know me, I'm a Spurs fan, and I try not to be biased, but Victor Wembanyama will win rookie of the year, I think, fairly easily. In 2nd and 3rd, I have Scoot Henderson in 2nd and Chet Holmgren in 3rd, which I think those could be interchangeable, but I think with the opportunity, Scoot should have it. But I think Chet can have an advantage over Scoot because of how good the Thunder will be, and depends how good the defense will be because of Chet. And now to my defensive player of the year, I have, oh man, I'm going to start the narrative now. Anthony Davis, defensive player of the year, locked it in. That's what I have. I think he will lead the Los Angeles Lakers to have one of the best defensive, units in the NBA, and it's finally going to happen. Anthony Davis finally gets the defensive player of the year. At 2, I have Mobley, who I kind of might want to put it at 1, but I think he'll take such a jump in offensively that I might hurt him a little bit defensively. And at number 3, I have Bam Adebayo. I mean, I know I was kind of low on this, but I didn't really think Jaren Jackson Jr. would really repeat again. Possibility, it might even, you might even throw Rudy Gobert. Depends how good the defensive unit because of him in Minnesota will be. And my number MVP, I'm going to go from 3 to 1. Number 3, I have Luka Doncic. I think he'll put up the numbers. He'll be great. He'll be Luka. But I think the team record will kind of affect him. And I think it'll kind of affect them. Just to see how good they are. I don't want to really spoil my Western Conference standings too much. But I think he'll have a better season than Joel Embiid. And that's kind of a hint. Joel Embiid is not on my top 3. But I think Luka will take that next jump next to Kyrie and help him flow a little bit better. But I'm just worried about the team aspect, the team record. And next, I have Nikola Jokic, of course, always being on the top of the West, of course. Got to give the respect to Jokic, the best player in the NBA right now. But he, unfortunately, is a number 2. And at number 1, my MVP going into next season, Jason Tatum. It's finally going to happen. Jason Tatum is not only going to have the best defensive unit that he's ever had in Boston, but he's going to have an MVP season, and that's why I have them as the number 1 seed, led by Jason Tatum, who's going to do it on both ends, defensively and offensively. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment down below your standings, comment down below your awards and what you think about it. In a few days, we will have our Western Conference standings predictions, and we will also do UFC 294 topics. So drop anything about that, what you think about the fights, what fight you're excited for. I'm really excited for that UFC 294. We'll talk about it more, and of course, we'll talk about our Week 7 picks for the NFL season. My name is Sam Narejas. Thank you for listening to the Sam Narejas podcast. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 500 subscribers. We'll see you next time. Peace.